We welcome Callum Scott Howells to the show. Hello.
Hello, it's so good to be here.
Well, lovely to see you. I'm on a Sunday too.
I love it. It's my favourite day of the week.
Well, it would be if you had a day off, but
Exactly.
today they put you in a car and they made you come here. Because you were saying you're working in Bath at the moment.
I am, yeah. I'm doing A View from the Bridge, the Arthur Miller play in the Euston of in Bath, which is a sort of 120-seater, and we're having a whale of a time.
Is it you and Dominic West? Obviously, there are other people in it too, but I don't know who they are.
They're all very good.
Yeah, but that's a lot of star power for a tiny studio theatre.
Yeah, the show sold out in like half an hour or something. It was something mad like that. So it's really special to be there, and it's nice to be out of London doing something like that, and the audiences are very different every night, and you hear everything because it's so intimate. And it's
Did you rehearse in Bath?
We rehearsed in London. We were at the Jerwood space, and then we went out to Bath really recently. So we've been open about a week now, and we're there for the next 3 weeks, and then we come into the West End in the summer at the Haymarket.
Oh wow! Oh. I mean, that would be such a weird thing to be suddenly be doing it in a big barn of a theatre.
Exactly.
Just like, we can't hear you.
Yes.
Speak up, Howells.
Yeah, but I've never done it before. I've never kind of done anything out of town and brought it in. So it's new for me, and I can't wait. And it's my first kind of Arthur Miller play. So it's all very new, and I'm learning a lot, but I'm loving it. I'm having a whale of a time.
All right, let's talk about why you're really here. The Way is on BBC. It's all available on BBC iPlayer, but it's episodically happening on Monday. So episode 2 happens this Monday at 9 o'clock. So you play Owen in the Driscoll family. Tell us about the family and what they go through.
Yeah, so I play Owen, who is the son of the family, and we kind of find Owen at the start going through a mental health crisis, and also he's grappling with addiction. He's addicted to benzodiazepines. And essentially what happens is that he's fallen out with his family, and then they find themselves amidst this kind of civil uprising that takes place because of the steelworks, the threat of the steelworks closing down in Talbot. And then they have to go on this kind of physical journey across the country because they have to uproot and leave because they become the faces of this uprising, and then the country sort of turns against them, the government and everything. So it's a piece full of kind of like anger, frustration, passion, and it was so fun to make, and it's a really exciting piece and very different, I think,
because it's almost like the story of refugees turned on its head. Yeah,
it's sort of an inverted story of refugees. So we're kind of telling it through our lens. You know, if it was to happen on our soil per se. So it's very it feels very like prescient, I think, and it feels very current. And I think it's a very interesting piece, and I feel very proud to be a part of it. And I think for me, I think why I love it so much is because I think it's so different for the BBC to be making something like this, and I think to be a part of it is something very unique.
And at the top of it is this extraordinary triumvirate of people. Michael Sheen, who directed it and helped come up with the idea,
and plays my grandfather.
Oh yes, he does. Yes, he does. And the documentary maker Adam Curtis, and then James Graham wrote it. So at what stage do you get involved in all of that?
So for me, it was a very like kind of normal process. I auditioned for it. You know, they had spent, I think something like 10 years or near enough on the piece, kind of like from conception to idea to kind of getting it made and written. So it's been a long gestation period for them. But then what happened is when it got commissioned by the BBC properly, I then auditioned for it. I sent a self-tape in and met Michael, and I'd never met Michael before. So then I went for a coffee with him and chatted about the piece, and then I kind of from that point on, I just really wanted to be involved.
But aren't you in? You've done something else at Michael.
No, but I think you might be confusing it with the Beautiful Game, which is the Homeless World Cup film that I'm in, but that Michael kind of was involved with. Michael put on the Homeless World Cup in Cardiff.
I see.
Which is very, like when I say to a lot of people I'm in this film, they're kind of like, oh, with Michael Sheen, and I'm like, well, no, Michael hosted the tournament in Wales, which was huge.
I see. Oh, because I just assumed you knew each other because of that.
No, although, people often go to me sometimes, they're like, oh, Michael's Welsh, are you related? I do get that a lot, which I'm sure you get as well.
Yeah. Are you his grandson?
Yes. Well, yeah, kind of.
Whereabouts in Wales are you from?
I'm from the Rhondda Valley, which is about 25 minutes outside of Cardiff. So yes,
So you're familiar enough with Port Talbot?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm about 45 minutes away from Port Talbot, so it's near enough. But I kind of didn't really go there a lot growing up. But filming there, I learned a lot about kind of the town and its history. It's steeped in history, that town. You know, it's...
I wonder what you were going to say there. It's steeped in
steel.
History.
Yeah.
That's what it's steeped in. I'm talking to Callum Scott Howells. The program is called The Way. Callum Scott Howells is in The Way. It continues on BBC One, 9 o'clock tomorrow night. But it's all available on iPlayer. And what was it like? Because you're filming in Port Talbot, and it's not standing in for Port Talbot. So, you know, the people of Talbot are going, oh, this is us.
Yeah.
Were they friendly? Were they on board because of Michael?
Well, they're in it. Like, the people of Port Talbot, they did a big casting call before we started filming of we want the people of Port Talbot to be part of our show. So, you know, because fundamentally I think it is their story. It's theirs to tell, you know. It's certainly not mine, you know, because I'm not from Port Talbot. So actually having those people involved, and obviously Michael being such a heavy presence on set, I got to kind of really throw myself into kind of what it is like to be from Port Talbot and live in Port Talbot and be part of the community there. They were amazing. Our supporting artists, they were all those riot sequences at the end of Act 1. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have kind of got my performance, I think, out as much as I did, because they really kind of went for it, and it made it so thrilling to be a part of.
And also, I mean, it's weird because I you know, when you do that drive, I used to go get the ferry, and you're coming from Cardiff, and you just come around a corner, and you're just like, what is this?
Yeah.
Who lives here?
I know.
Because Port Talbot is so strange looking, but it's oddly very photogenic.
Yes, and I think they do that very well in the show. Like, they make it kind of look eerie and beautiful and haunting. It's all those things in one. And yeah, like I feel the same. Like, you on the M4, like you come from Cardiff and you're heading to Swansea or something, and you pass Port Talbot and you're like, what is this place? The steelworks has such a... It has such this like beautifully haunting presence over the town. Well, you know, and you know, I sometimes forget that Port Talbot was built for the steelworks. You know, it was built to kind of house the people who work there. So it's very it's a very unique town. And you know, it's unique, but also not unique. Like, because I guess where I come from, you know, Treorchy, the Rhondda, that's a mining community. So I guess a lot of the houses there were built for the mines. So Wales is full of these kind of, like, you know, industrial towns.
Yeah, and I guess what the difference is, the steel works have lasted longer than the mines, but still, and the beginning of the show with the accident and the industrial unrest. I mean, that seems like that's almost based on fact, is it, or is it?
Well, I think kind of unfortunately so. We did, you know, we when we were making the show, we knew, you know, the situation at the steelworks has always been on a knife edge, certainly in recent history, and I think what's happened really recently since wrapping the show is that, you know, now they're threatening to close the blast furnaces, which means that the future of the steelworks is very scary. Yeah. So what is sad is that that's happened now as our show is airing. So, you know, it feels like we've planned it, but we really haven't. Like, it's you know, it's been so sad to see kind of what's happened, and you know, my thoughts and all my love I'm sending all the way to Port Talbot right now. It's really sad for all the workers and their families. And
you mentioned the beautiful game of the Homeless World Cup. That comes out. When does that come out?
That comes out next month. At the end of next month. I think I'm allowed to say that. I think. Oh God, I don't want to get into trouble. But it comes out next month, and it's very
or not
or not. But I'm very excited about that. It's a movie that we filmed I think like 2 years ago now.
Yeah, I was going to say you filmed it a long time ago.
A long time coming. So it's it's coming out very soon, and I'm very excited for people to see it.
Wow. So you got The Way, you got that, and you're going to be. Are you allowed to say that you're going to be in the West End? Well, you've said that already.
It's too late now.
Too late now.
Too late.
Yeah. Wow, he's a loose cannon, Callum Scott Howells. You're going to be at Theatre Royal Haymarket in the summer in View from the Bridge. Congratulations on all your continued success,
Thank you
Callum.
so much, Graham. And congratulations on your show. It's the best. You're the best.
Hold the lift doors. Thank you so much for coming in to see us.
Virgin Radio.